Hey folks, welcome back to the RC bench. Well, as you can see, I've got something going on here. This is a RC that I bought quite a long time ago. You can probably already see what it is, but bought it, I put it together, but I never ever run it because I didn't have a receiver or a speed controller for it. And what it is a Kyosho NSR 500, one of the hanging on racer RC motorbikes. Let me find the box here for you and you can see. If I can get into frame. That guy right there. Now I had it all together just sitting there collecting dust on the shelf. Never ran it. It was more a shelf queen without the stickers or any paint on it, and I've had it so long that it might not show up, but maybe it will. The plastic's actually yellowed a bit. That can be dealt with paint. But what I want to do today is see if I can get a power system working in it. Well, I shouldn't say that because I do have a power system. Here's the old motor. And what I decided to put into it for now is my old Mamba, was it a Mamba Micro motor? Got the gear on it already. But I didn't want to use my old Mamba Micro or whatever it was called speed controller with reverse. I didn't want to waste reverse on this bike because it doesn't need reverse. So I have some of these left over. They're Hobby King speed controllers for one of my quadcopter projects. Now they're 20 amps. This motor requires 25 in theory, but I got a few of these, so if I blow it up, so be it. But I think it'll be alright at that 20 amp load. And now for the radio, that was the main thing that was holding me back. I didn't put a radio system in it, so I decided I was going to get a radio. Now some of you may scoff, but got this for pretty cheap, brand new. It's a FlySky FS GT3B basic Chinese radio. It's got a few issues like the exponential doesn't work right and all that, but the nice thing about this radio is that there is a user created firmware for it that turns it from a 10 channel somewhat basic but decent radio into a, I think it's 30, sorry, not 10 channel, 10 model memory, basic functionality into a, I think it's 36 or 37 model number, or model memory, and all sorts of other extras on it. So that's why I bought it. And the price was right. I got it shipped. It was an eBay seller on Canada. Can't remember the name. If I can find, I'll put the screenshot here. Because I'm in Canada, so I wanted to get something from Canada, make the shipping quicker because Chinese New Year's going on. But I think it cost me about 70 bucks in total, so can't go wrong. Now I've unboxed it already and tried it out and played around with it, and it all works. So my plan for today is to stuff the receiver into here and start putting it together. I also ordered a couple extra receivers on eBay. I think they're like $7 each. That was another selling feature of this radio. I can get a whole bunch of receivers for it for awfully inexpensive. Show you. It's a 3-channel receiver. You can see it's a pretty, what can I compare it to? I guess I use a tape measure. They're not that big. You can see in the frame there. Less than 1.5 inches for you Americans, and 3/4 of an inch. So I'm thinking this will stuff into the motorbike quite well. So let's see if we can find a mountain spot. And actually first I'm going to tie all the electronics together, make sure it works, and then we'll see if we can get it mounted. So I'm just going to shut up and or I'll get all this hooked up and make sure it works. Then we'll get on to mounting it in the bike. So please hold tight. Okay folks, so I've been doing some wiring here a little bit here and there. Decided this speed controller I had flashed with a different firmware. It's not behaving how I'd hoped. So I had this one in the box, or still in the package. And one thing I didn't think of, which I may not be able to overcome, is these speed controllers, because they have no reverse or brake, zero throttle is going to be full reverse. So I don't know if I can actually use the programming on the radio to fix that. So I'm going to have to monkey around with that a bit. And if that's not going to work, I'm going to have no choice but to use my Mamba Micro speed controller. And I'll just have to do some shopping and see what else I can find for other little speed controllers. So I'm just going to muck around with this first and see what I can come up with. And if I figure out a setting on here, I'll show you. If not, I'll drag out the Mamba Micro. Alright folks, well I gave up on the airplane helicopter speed controller. There's nothing I can do to make it work. So got my trusty old Mamba 25 here. There's no sticker or anything on it, but I assure you it is a Mamba 25. I used my Castle Link, old school Castle Link programmer to set it all up. Got it calibrated to my radio, and lo and behold, we've got motorcycle running. Got throttle, and it's going the right way. Do a burnout on the bench here, and even though steering is not on the actual bike, the steering works good. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to get all this mounted in there. I'll look at the manual and see what they claim you need to do, and get it all back together. So no point in showing you the build of this. I'm sure there's build videos online, what have you. I just don't want to go through that whole process, so I'm going to get it all back together. I'm not going to paint it yet. I figure what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it all back together. And then when all that white stuff outside melts, I'm going to run it, and if I scratch up the body, so be it. And then once I get a little better at driving it, then I'll go ahead, tear it down and paint it. So I think that'll be a good plan. Maybe, maybe not. If I get a few scratches in it, I can deal with it then. But let's take a, I'm going to go ahead and try to cram all these electronics in here, and I'll bring you back when she's all back together. Okay folks, well it's actually a couple days later. Finally got the bike back together. I was working on it in the house slowly. It's back together in all its yellowed plastic glory. And I'm using this stand I made. It's a little bit wobbly actually. I think I'm going to re-engineer it. It's not my design, it's one I found on online. I 3D printed it, but I think I'm going to change it so the base is a little wider, because she likes to tip over. Now I don't have a proper battery for this guy, so what I've got, because I'll show you here, the battery fits down in here, and I want to run a 2-cell. Now, well, maybe I do have here. Let me see. Sorry, I'll be in front of the camera. This Thunder Tiger, it's my, sorry, Thunder Power, if it's any good, I wonder if she'll fit. See, that's a little bit big. I priced out some batteries online. That'll work. Actually, I'm going to be at my local hobby store this weekend, hopefully, and they have something for about, I think, a 17 bucks Canadian, somewhere in there. See, this guy would work. Oh, this one won't work either. Close, but a little bit too thick. And the way the connectors hook up wouldn't work anyway, so I'm going to pick up a battery this weekend for it. But I do have a battery I can use for testing purposes only. This battery, sorry folks, I'm all over the place. If this battery was good, it would work. It's almost too small, but I think this battery's shot too, because I've got a bad habit of not taking care of my lipo packs, which is unfortunate, but that's just me. Yeah, that guy's too long. Okay, I'm yammering, but what I was getting to was that got everything hooked up. I had to, it's hard to see, but the speed controller is up under here where the factory combo unit's meant to go. And the receiver was a tough one, but what I ended up doing is sticking it behind here and where the radiator kind of is. And that worked out good. Everything fit nice and snug. Now I've got an XT60 connector on there right now, but I'm going to convert it over to an XT30. Same thing, I'm going to get some of those at the hobby store. And let's see. So what I've been using to test it with is just a 3-cell pack that I have here. Let me show you how she makes a noise. Can't do anything with it yet till I get the proper battery, and it's nowhere to run it until the snow goes away. You'll probably hear the motor kicking in. There we go. That's what I was saying about this stand, and the factory one's no better. So I'm just going to hold it. So as you can, there's the, I think the trim is a little out, or I might have to get back in there for the servo because it seems off center. But in any case, there she is. She works good. Be curious to see how it runs with a 2-cell. I know the 3-cell is going to be too much. I don't want to strip the plastic gears. Yeah, but yeah, it's the first time she's moved under her own power. Do a burnout. Yeah, a little bit of rubber on the mat, but yeah. And also I've got it set up so that the switch for the speed controller is on all the time, and you have to unplug it to turn it off. So yeah, she's gonna can't wait to get it out and see how she runs. But I'll make sure and video that. Should be a bit of a train wreck trying to learn how to drive this thing, but should be fun. So until then, I'm gonna run it as is till I get better at it, and then I'm going to paint it, and there's a little bit of cracks here and there I'm going to probably have to deal with as well because of the old plastic, but that'll all come in time. I'm going to run it, and then I'll probably end up scratching up the plastics and whatnot, and then I can smooth it out and paint it all and make it pretty. So that's it for this this toy, so stay tuned for some more stuff on some of my other toys that I'm going to resurrect. So till then, take care and talk to you later.